Yay, the kids are finally asleep.
So do you feel like...
Playing a game?
I've got a feeling a boss fight's coming up.
Ooh, I just got wrecked.
Headshot, baby.
Ooh, it's your turn to get the baby.
So are you up to the challenge?
Run, 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 run.
And we're dead.
That's when I realized I have no idea what I'm doing.
GG. Welcome back to another episode of the KJ After Dark Gamer Parents Podcast. My name is Kevin, and I am joined by my beautiful wife, Joanne.
Hi
Joanne,
there.
how are you doing?
I'm good.
If you're new here, Joanne and we are a married couple. We have 2 kids of our own, and we love video games and life, and that's kind of just what we talk about on the podcast here.
Yep.
This is episode number 27. So, Joanne, how has your week been in life and games?
Let's start with life because that's the more interesting one this week. So both our kids caught a cold or a flu virus of something. Not COVID, thankfully.
Yes, not COVID.
But it has been a week of cleaning up pukes and messes. It's been really rough. They're coughing, they have a runny nose, and it's just what happens when you put a child in camp and they come back bringing all the wonderful cooties. So
yeah, they bring all that back into the home, and
and spread it to the younger sibling, of course. And I know it's building their immune system, but man, I feel for all parents out there when their kids are in the process of building their immunity, because we're exhausted. I mean, there was a night where you and I had like frequent 2-hour naps because our toddler keeps waking up at night. And
yeah, because I think that's the thing with younger kids like that, toddlers. They can't sleep because they're coughing, and they get frustrated and cry, and they can't really. It's hard as an adult to even deal with that kind of stuff, let alone toddler having to deal with that too, and all the symptoms and everything that comes with a cold, and runny noses are they're draining, literally. So
yeah, and babies and kids, especially babies, they don't really know how to like blow their nose.
That's true. Our 1-year-old definitely does not. Although she gets I'll try to tell her to blow out of her nose, and she'll just blow with her mouth. She knows how to do that. But then the toddler our 3-year-old kind of knows. He's done it a couple times, but whenever I try and get him to blow his nose, he doesn't like doing it. It seems like it probably feels weird, with maybe the pressure or pushing things out of his nose is weird to him probably. So he doesn't really like doing it, but man, I wish he would, because it would make him feel a lot better.
And then the other problem is they don't know how to cough out their mucus, clear their throat the way we do.
True.
And the only way they do that is through puking, I guess. So far, that's what's been happening to them both. So it's a lot of cleaning sheets, cleaning floors, bathing them, and changing the outfits. So
even in the last 30 minutes, right? I mean, we were literally just preparing for this episode. Usually Joanne and I will take a good 30 minutes and just run through what we want to talk about and just kind of get in the right mindset before we actually record. And in the middle of that, our 1-year-old woke up coughing and had a crib full of puke. Yeah, so there you go. Parenthood.
Yes, never a dull moment.
Finest.
There should have a game like Baby Dash or something.
Yeah, where you have to basically take on the role of a parent and do all this stuff taking care of a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to watch the baby monitor, and change diapers and feed them when they get hungry, and do all this stuff, and also at the same time take care of yourself.
Yeah, entertain them. That's what they call it, space lines from the far out, where we have to entertain them, else they end up doing stuff that you don't want them to do.
And then when you increase the difficulty, it just adds more kids to you.
I know, right? Yeah.
And you mentioned how our kids kind of get each other sick.
Yes.
And I feel like that's kind of like, I don't honestly know how you avoid that. And I don't think you really can or do. I think it's just kind of like have to let it run its course and kind of, hopefully everyone's not sick at all at the same time, but one will get sick and then the other one will get sick as the other one's like kind of getting better. And like, thankfully, at least this time we haven't gotten sick. I'm sure we would have by now if we were. But, there's, I guess, our immune system's being a little bit stronger or whatever. But yeah, thankfully, like, we're not sick too.
Yeah.
Because then that's really tough.
Not wood.
And imagine the people that have more kids. We only have 2. So we only have to deal with 2 getting sick.
Yeah.
Like each time. But imagine if we had like 5 or something.
Yeah, I can't even.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's on the life part, which already takes up most of my time. I didn't get to do much gaming because at the end of the day with this 2 sick kiddos,
and we even had to cancel the stream this week too, right? So we didn't even do a stream this week because it was one of the nights that our son was really sick and having a hard time sleeping, and we kind of just needed to be there for him. And I think that's one of the harder parts with both of us being like kind of in the same podcast together, because we're also both the only people responsible for these kids. So if they need us, they need us. Not like one of us can kind of break away to do that and leave the other one here to do this. So
but that's why we have this podcast, to do life together and share the burdens together. Not that the children are burdens, but I'm just saying like the tough times,
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I get you. But so any gaming at all? I know this, taking care of sick kids has kept you especially busy.
Yeah,
I did. Any games?
I did play a couple times, I think, or maybe more than a couple times. But every time I played it, it was Lost Ark as usual, because that's my de-stressing game. So when I'm stressed, that's the game I play to de-stress myself. It's kind of like meditation for me, because all I do is do the Mokoko seeds collectibles and just random achievements. Nothing, like daily grind or whatsoever. No, just more like chilling stuff after a rough day, wanting to enjoy the beautiful graphics of Lost Ark and the music.
Nice. I could kind of see that being like a more of stress-free, winding down, relaxing kind of game. For me, that's probably more like Hearthstone, just like super simple and easy to get into, and I don't really have to think a whole lot.
Yeah.
I guess because I'm just so used to the games. But as far as me and my week, I think you kind of explained most of the life part with me, with the kids being sick and, missing a stream, unfortunately. But I'm looking forward to having one next week.
Yes.
And then on the gaming front, playing a little bit of Hearthstone. I kind of went back to that being my main mobile game. I was playing some BeatStar for a while there, which I was having a lot of fun with. But then, like, the way they set it up, like, it gets harder and harder to unlock more and more songs as you go, like, drastically harder. Because it just requires, like, more and more grinding and points and stuff. So, like, it kind of became a little bit more work than what it was worth. So I think I'm pretty much done. I haven't uninstalled it yet, but I think I'm pretty much done with BeatStar. And then the other one that I was playing, Rush Royale, I kind of think I'm done with that one too. Like right now, it was a point where I was kind of split between those 3 games on mobile, and then now I'm mostly just playing Hearthstone. So I think I'm done with the short run of BeatStar and Rush Royale. Both were kind of fun in their own ways, but I knew like right from the very beginning it wasn't going to last that long. So back to Hearthstone all the way.
Yep.
And then on the PC gaming side, I officially uninstalled BioShock. BioShock 1 Remastered, which was picked up for free not that long ago. And that was kind of tough because I wanted to be able to finish it, but I wasn't really enjoying it that much. And I wanted to play other games, and I needed a little bit of space on the old hard drive. So that one I did away with. And I think when I do get back into BioShock, I'll just like skip on over to Infinite and kind of start off with that one. And at least got to play through a part of BioShock 1 just to see a little bit of what it's like. But then I'll jump into Infinite, and that a lot of people say is really good. So that'll be soon for sure. It's probably not going to be the next game that I hop into. I'm still playing some Vampire Survivors, but every time I play it, I mean, it's really fun, but then like I'm having a hard time unlocking a couple of the last things, and I feel like I'm kind of wasting some time playing that game when I'm not unlocking something. So I feel like I kind of want to move on to something else. I'm thinking Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy is one that I'm thinking of playing next. Which when we bought this PC, it was a custom build and it came with the computer, like a redeem code or whatever. So even though now it's on Game Pass, so I probably didn't need to have that, but we have it already on the PC. So I'll probably just play through that one next here. Hopefully, I heard that one's pretty good too. That came out last year. Do you like Guardians of the Galaxy?
The movie, yeah, but I don't know how the game works. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I've only seen a little bit of the game, but I heard a lot of good things about it. A lot of people liked it, so I'm hopefully gonna have some fun with that one. But yeah, like other than all that stuff, not a whole lot of gaming going on this last week. We've been pretty busy. I feel like just also kind of getting back from vacation and everything, like being caught up and all with work. I feel like there was a little bit of extra work this week,
Yeah.
but that's so kind of about it, right?
Yeah. Yes, it's been a slow week on the gaming side, but been super busy with life and the kids. So.
Yeah, so shall we recap everyone on what's new on Game Pass?
Sure. Yeah. And then we could discuss an interesting article, which we would not get into right now, but stay tuned. After the game releases, we'll talk about an interesting topic that we have read.
Sure. So what do you got for Game Pass games?
All right. So this week, Game Pass games that came out on July 19, it's As Dusk Falls on console, PC, and cloud, as well as Watch Dogs 2 on console, PC, and cloud. Did you play Watch Dogs before?
I did.
Pretty interesting, wasn't it?
It was a while ago. I can't remember if it was Watch Dogs 1 or 2, to be honest.
Oh, really?
I kind of think it was Watch Dogs 2.
It was too.
Can't really remember. If I've actually only played Watch Dogs 1 and 2 is now on Game Pass, I might check it out. But if it's the one I've already played, then yeah, I'm not going to do that again. But it was fun. I like just like messing around in that game. Like you just drive around and like mess with the street lights or whatever, like hack different things.
Hacking, yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool game. I liked it.
And then on July 21st, the 3 games that came out on Game Pass was MotoGP 22, which is on console, PC, and cloud. Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion, which is only on PC though. And Torment, Tides of Numenera on console and cloud. I did not see the trailers for the last 2 games that I just mentioned. Did you check them out?
I have not checked them out yet, and I don't know.
The Torment one
about.
sounds pretty interesting, but I don't want to judge a game by its title.
Yeah, and that one's not on PC, so I don't think we're gonna get to see it.
That is true.
Looking at Sins of Solar Empire now, it kind of looks like a space strategy.
Like Alien. It has online multiplayer.
So it's like a strategy game in space. They have a really short video on the Game Pass app about it, but it doesn't really show a whole lot. I don't think it's one we try, but if you really like those, big space battle type stuff, it might be right up your alley.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Watch Dogs is a good one.
As Dusk Falls looks interesting because it's like also multiplayer and.
Is it multiplayer?
Mm-hmm. It's interactive drama.
They keep putting a lot of games like this on Game Pass, which is interesting because I wonder if it must be working. Kind of like an interactive, story-driven game.
Might want to check that out since the Cover looks nice and
it's co-op, it says.
yeah.
I don't know how, but man, it'd be interesting. That'd be fun. That might be fun for like a stream day, going into a game like that if it's like co-op.
Mm-hmm. Agree. So yeah, that's what's on Game Pass. What about you? What you got?
Okay, so new game releases out this week: As Dusk Falls, which is the same one that just came to Game Pass. And then we have Endling, Extinction is Forever on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. We have Fallen Angel on Switch and PC. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. Into the Breach on iOS and Android, so that's a mobile game. Stray on PS5, PS4, and PC. Redout 2 on Switch. We have Bright Memory Infinite on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch. Koromon on Switch. And Live Alive. I don't know. This one's getting me. Okay, so it's like Live, Livea, different word, and then space Live again, Live. But I don't know if it's like live or live between each one of them. What do you think?
Live or live.
It's either live alive, live alive, live alive, or live a live.
Oh.
That's hard to say. Like between read and read, like different ways to say the word with the same spelling. So I'm sure they're trying to confuse people on purpose, and they got me for sure.
Yeah.
So without looking into it, I don't know how to pronounce that one. But kind of cool ones on there. We played Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah, but this is Hot Wheels.
This one's
is it the
like
same?
the Hot Wheels one, which I wonder if that's going to come to Game Pass at some point, like all the other Forza games. Because Hot Wheels, that's pretty cool. Like I'd at least like to see like how that looks versus the Forza Horizon 5 that we played. And if it's on Game Pass, I might check it out for a little bit, for like a night or two, just to kind of hop in and see it.
Stray looks interesting.
And then Stray, yeah.
Because I'm a cat lover, so.
Yeah, you are definitely a cat person, a lot more than me, that's for sure. And Stray is a game where you play as a cat, and you're like in this big city, and it's kind of like cyberpunk-esque city looking. And I think you have to like try and escape or something like that. So like, yeah, you play as a cat, and I don't really know like what else you do. I haven't really watched any of the gameplay or anyone playing it, but it's all over social media, people talking about it, and a lot of people are playing that right now as kind of probably the biggest game on this list that people are playing right now, at least that I have heard of.
I actually shared a meme by 9gag on this game.
They did?
Yeah, it's on KJ After Dark. On
Instagram?
Yeah. It's a story.
Well, there you have it. Go check it out. And you can also look up Stray while you're at it. And that one is not even on Xbox. It's only on PlayStation and PC. So if you are an Xbox player, I'm sorry, but it is on PlayStation or PC.
Most cat people are PC players and PlayStation players.
I don't know.
I'm kidding.
So between Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, and like cat lovers, dog lovers, do you think cat lovers are Xbox players or PlayStation players or PC players?
I don't even know if that's even connected.
Is there a correlation? There might be a huge correlation, and just no one's figured this out yet.
Maybe that's why they don't have it on Xbox.
There's a lot of cat people are gamers. There's a lot of people who game who have cats or stream and have cats. And I don't know. I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but it might. I like to think so. But that's it for new game releases.
Yeah.
We did have a story to talk about. It's not exactly like breaking news. It's just an interesting news story that kind of got me thinking a lot, and definitely curious to like see how it plays out. But anyways, there is a teacher at a school in Oregon. Now this is here in the US, where the teacher was approved to use video games to teach in his classroom. So he has a set of 20 Xboxes. I think it was like 4 Nintendo Switches and a PlayStation 5.
And it's an English teacher.
Yeah, it is for an English class, but he has this set of consoles, quite a few. So what is that, like 25 different consoles for this classroom? I don't know if everybody is going to be using one at the same time or really what the whole plan is for that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to use video games to engage more with students, versus, I guess, using books or, online assignments or, I mean, it's been a little while since I've been in school.
Mostly for literature. So
Yeah, I mean, it's for an English class. I would assume maybe middle school or high school.
no, it's a senior, they say.
Oh, okay, so this is a high school. I think
Yeah.
that's probably better, but yeah, so using video games to teach in an English classroom about narrative themes commonly seen in literature and films.
Yeah. I remember back in high school, okay, I'm speaking from my home country, Malaysia. So
Sure.
back in high school, my English teacher did use a movie, to study literature and stuff.
Was it like a movie rendition of a book or something?
No, it was that movie. I don't even remember the name anymore of that movie, but I know Robin Williams was in it. Remember the one where the Dead Poet Society.
Oh yeah, Dead Poet Society. But we did see that same movie in school
Really?
for me too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, it was a good movie. So
It is. And then we were, like asked to give our thoughts on it. Yeah, I thought that was a great way to engage the students, but with games, I think it's a unique idea. I mean, I don't know how he's going to do it. This teacher is going to do it. Because, like, even between you and I, we play games at a different pace.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they're going to play it in the class or when they go home as a homework, if that's assuming everyone has it.
I would think just in the classroom, because I don't think the school would want the students taking home these consoles. I mean, just with the likelihood of them breaking or students losing them,
That's true.
air quotes, losing them, or I would assume they would disappear somehow. They have to keep probably a pretty close eye on those. So I'd imagine it would be in the classroom. And some games take hours upon hours to beat. So, most classes are like an hour or two a day.
Yeah.
Of each subject, and this is just one subject.
I mean, I know like he wants to use the story in God of War for the literature or something, but like let's say there's a boss fight, like they need to be a very skilled gamer in that class to get through that, to get to the next part of the story, right? No?
Yeah, like you mentioned God of War, which is one of the games that they mention in the article, as well as
It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. Some story-driven games, and like we haven't played.
I've played it before.
We played God of War, yeah, and it wasn't like a particularly short game, so I'd imagine it would take a while, like quite a few classes of just coming in if you're going to play through that game, and even then, I feel like in video games, sure you get a lot of story, but there's a lot of just running around or talking to random characters or fighting random enemies that don't really have anything to do with the story or add any context or flavor to the game other than just having fun battles, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of that time feels like it kind of gets wasted for the student or in the classroom.
Yeah.
That I could see as a gamer kind of being worried about that, because I know how games are. And I would think I'm sure not every parent of the students in this class is overjoyed with the fact that their kids are going to be playing Xbox in the classroom.
Depends on
I'm
the
sure there's some
parents,
parents that are marching up to the school board and, demanding they put a stop to this or whatever.
Aaron? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some parents would not be happy about it. But
yeah, but I don't know. I think it's a great idea, and it's not stated like that, that's the only way they're going to study it. I'm sure there are many alternatives.
Exactly.
Because,
I mean, yeah, I doubt they just do this every day for their whole year. I'm sure the teacher will still use books. It is an English class after all, right? He may even use movies, but obviously there is a student engagement problem, which most parents, maybe some parents probably see that kind of thing if they're really involved in their kids' schools and what it's like for them in their classrooms, and maybe they see that in their child as well. But at least for us, like, we haven't been in school for a long time, and then our kids aren't at the ages where they go into school, and I'm sure it's a lot different from when we were. Plus, you're in a different country now, so I'm sure just the cultural differences and all that.
But also we had like computer classes back then, and even then it wasn't as, what's the word for it, efficient as I expected, because like I said, everyone has like different pace. Like some people who has access to computers at home obviously know how to use the program better in the school versus kids who did not have computers at home. So the same goes for this. I think like kids who have consoles at home would probably like figure out how to progress the story faster compared to the other kids, and I don't know if that's gonna be like a problem and stuff like that, because maybe only a certain number of students would be engaged and then in the story versus other kids who are just watching and getting bored.
I mean, that's, I think that's fair to say that video games aren't for everybody, and probably the same way that books aren't really for everybody. I'm sure there's some students that don't have any intention of playing, or they don't want to play any of these games. And maybe they can just watch the other students, and if it is really about the story and the narratives of the games, then really playing it doesn't really add any benefit to that, right? You may as well watch it and you get the story and narrative in that way, and just let somebody else who wants to play it.
I'm thinking the teacher himself is a gamer.
Yeah, probably. I mean, to go to this kind of stretch, I would assume at least somewhat.
Yeah,
it definitely would seem like it. But like you said, they're probably not only going to be doing this. I'm sure there will be lots of assignments around what the kids are learning and what they're picking up on. It's not just, play games and you get an A, right? Or beat the boss and you get an A or something like that, right? I'm sure they're going to have to write essays and assignments and all kinds of stuff, and school is still going to be school, but maybe they'll just enjoy it a little bit more, and kind of comparing these to books, I guess. And like I mentioned, I wasn't really much of a book person. I mean, I still read in school because I had to, but that was pretty much the only times I've really read in my life was when I had to or are supposed to. But usually it's not just for leisure or for pleasure of reading.
That's true.
What about, I mean, I already know the answer, but not everybody listening does. But so what do you feel about books?
I love books. I mean, I started reading like since I was 3.
Like reading books?
Yeah, I mean like baby books, board books first, and then just like our son, he's reading at 3 to his 1-year-old sister. But then, I like read more books at 5 years old, like proper books. And then I've just really got hooked on books up till this very day, because like when I read a book, it's like there's a movie being played in my head, and it's just, I get so like I dive into it that like the whole world around me don't exist anymore. It's basically as bad as gaming for me, reading and gaming.
Is what you're reading important, or you could get into pretty much anything?
I think it's important.
Like it just needs a good story, basically.
Yeah, I would read a good story. I like a story that's very detailed to the point. Like when I read Harry Potter, I could like totally picture it in my head to the point where the movie did not live up to my expectations because I imagine it better based on what the author wrote in the book.
Yeah, I think that's something that I just don't do very well. Like I don't
visualize.
Like I kind of visualize things, but it doesn't, like sometimes if the book is good, I'll visualize it. and then it'll help me kind of get through the book. But if it's not good, I just get distracted and my mind wanders, and I'll end up reading the same half a page 5 times over again because I keep stopping without realizing it.
Back in like elementary school and also middle school, we had this like competition in school where like you have to submit all the titles of books that you read in that week, and then and then at the end of the month, after you submit everything, so every week we submit it, and then at the end of the month they total it up, and then the person who reads the most books like win, and then you even have to write the number of pages. It's not just like books. You have to write the title of the book, the number of the pages in the book. And
I would just pick the book that has the most pictures in it. That's usually how I did my book selections if I had to. But the books that you had to read in school, did you enjoy those? Like, or did you also think those were good books? Or did you only enjoy the books that you picked like outside of school reading?
I obviously enjoy the books I pick outside of school more, but some of the books are nice. I mean, the ones that were suggested in school. But I remember I did not really enjoy like the classical, like the very different English, the
older
Shakespeare
written
ones.
Yeah, gotcha.
I mean, it was like really hard reading because all the thou and thee and thy, and it was.
Yeah, it's like very twisted Yoda language.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I get that.
Yeah, I did not really enjoy all that,
Yeah, so either way, this whole story about this teacher in Oregon using video games to teach in the classroom, it'll be interesting to see how it goes and how the students do. Also in the article, it read that the school wasn't getting any help like from Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo. I mean, obviously, most of the consoles that they have are Xboxes created by Microsoft. So it'd be interesting to see if they kind of lend a hand or do anything to help support the class, given that they're using Xboxes to do at least some of the teaching. And it also got me thinking, like, what if Microsoft did get behind this, and kind of supported this classroom, and there was more classrooms like this in the future, right? Imagine if this is a wild success, and I'm not saying that I think it would be. I honestly don't really know if that's a good idea to bring video games into the classroom. I think over time it's gotten harder for kids to learn just because of phones and screen time, and we're just not really as alert, I think, as we used to be. And I think less people enjoy reading or read now than we used to. But if it does succeed and more classrooms start doing something like this, and Microsoft starts kind of being the one to support classrooms like this, and imagine if there were an Xbox in every classroom in the country, right? That kids would play to learn or to at their school to basically to integrate with their schoolwork in the classroom. And that's what they got used to when they were in school, and either at home or after school or after they're through school. If they do want to get a gaming console, what do you think they're going to get? They're probably going to get an Xbox because that's what they're used to. That's the games they've been playing on. It's a way to introduce them to one side of things in the console and gaming world. If one of these big companies were to really embrace something like this now, it could be a complete flop, and the school might figure out that grades dropped or the kids didn't learn as much, and they just ended up playing a bunch of video games. And hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully the kids do well with all this. Yeah. But just something interesting that I was thinking about.
Probably by the time our kids go to high school, they might suggest virtual reality instead. Ooh.
Yeah. And another thing, there was this whole Reddit post with it, right? And but the teacher is involved in and kind of sharing the whole story, and that's how we kind of heard about it and got got the whole scoop of this. And he also has a picture of all of the consoles and all the equipment, all the controllers and everything, and all 20 Xboxes and the the PS5 and Switch. Well, I guess Switches are pretty easy to come by, but just the fact that we don't have a current gen console yet, and this teacher has 20 Xboxes and a PS5. Don't know how. I mean, we're not really trying that hard to get like a PS5, but it's been a little while since I've checked. But I know before everything was like constantly out. So good for him for even getting all the equipment to do this class. That probably wasn't that easy. Although I guess all the funding came from the school, so that makes it easier. But yeah, that's kind of it on that story.
Yeah, excited to see how things go.
Yeah, I kind of want to see if they do like a follow-up, like, after the school season of how it all went and if they're going to continue doing it.
Yeah.
I hope it works out for them. I really do. Like we mentioned earlier, we did miss a stream this last week, but we should have one next week if everything goes smoothly. I don't see why it wouldn't. And you can catch us on our stream over on YouTube on the KJ After Dark channel. You can also check us out on Instagram at KJ_after_dark. Or you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/KJ After Dark. We pretty regularly share things to pretty much all those venues of content and information. So we'll share stories or just interesting stuff or stuff we're working on or doing.
Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to give a thumbs up.
Yes,
all of that.
Please do all that stuff. It really helps us out. And if you're watching on Apple Podcasts, please throw a rating and a review our way. We would really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But that's all we got for you this week. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you come back next week.
Bye.
Bye.